House Speaker Mike Johnson had a warning for members of his caucus as it pertains to the upcoming State of the Union speech. His message: for the love of God, please behave. Now, according to one GOP lawmaker talking to The Hill on Wednesday, Speaker Johnson had said, let's have the appropriate decorum. We don't need to be shrill, you know. We got to avoid that. We need to base things upon policy, upon facts, upon reality of situations. Let them do the gaslighting. Let them do the blaming. Speaking, of course, of Democrats, the lawmaker added, I think the American people know who is responsible for the many worldwide crises we have. The worldwide crises. Okay. Of course. But no, I love how he has to remind supposed adult professionals not to act like unruly children. Pretty appropriate. Like, we know who he's talking about, by the way. We know.
Jewish space lasers.
Okay? It's that lady.
Nancy Pelosi's gazpacho police.
So we're going to have to call in Nancy Pelosi's gazpacho police to make sure you behave. This was Marjorie Greene, of course, and not to mention Lauren Boebert. Last year, they got a little unruly. In fact, Greene had shouted liar while being dressed up like Cruella de Vil.
Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote. Well, I'm glad to see you. No, I tell you.
Okay, so now the question is, of course, now that Mike Johnson has delivered his message, are they gonna listen? Are Republicans actually going to behave? Well, Tennessee Representative Tim Burchett is less than optimistic. In fact, he said, will they do it? Somebody asked me that earlier, and I said, does the Baptist Church got a bus? No, of course they will, because he's going to say some very offensive things. He's going to attack us. I think we just need to try to be a little classy. Consider where we're at. Let the other side do that. You know, they did it to Trump, and nobody said boo. But when we do it, we're going to get made an example of it. Yes, they did it to Trump. They did it to Trump. Oh, you mean when Donald Trump ripped up, I'm sorry, when Nancy Pelosi tore up Donald Trump's speech? Okay. How about when several members of the Democratic caucus walked out during one of Trump's speeches? Okay. Not quite the same as yelling out, liar or you lie. Okay, sure. But it is funny, though, that Johnson knows how out of control Greene and the others are and had to essentially beg them not to embarrass themselves and him. So now, that said, what does Marjorie Greene have to say about this? Oh, well, they asked her about it. This is Fox News correspondent Chad Pergram, who asked Greene, and she responded by saying, quote, my district was fine with me calling him a liar last year. I'll decide in the moment whether or not I'll do this. Oh, okay. Fun. Okay. So, look, if, and this is not a good sign, okay, Marjorie Greene saying, I'll decide in the moment. Not a good sign for Mike Johnson, okay? Because here's the thing, right? He's the leader of House Republicans. So he goes out there and he says, please don't embarrass me, right? And they do it, well, that completely undermines his authority. Yeah, he can't control his caucus, right? Now, if they do behave, then that's good for him because it means that they have at least enough respect for Mike Johnson or his position as House leader to be like, all right, we can't make a fool of ourselves today, all right? We leave that to another day. I don't know what's going to happen. I wouldn't count on Marjorie Greene not making a fool out of herself and Republicans because it's kind of what she does. So we'll have to see what happens. Already, Marjorie Greene is handing out, apparently, pins for Laken Riley, right? So, Laken Riley was a young woman who was killed by an undocumented immigrant. Fox News has been just all over that. There was one Republican that actually invited the parents of Laken Riley to show up, but they're like, no, we're not going to do it. We're not going to show up. Instead, we're going to stay home. We're going to grieve our daughter, okay, and not try to make a political point out of this, which Republicans are trying to do. So this one Republican that invited the parents decided to, well, I'm just going to leave the seat open then, as a symbol of how the Democrats have failed America with their immigration. Okay, so with Greene handing out those pins and Republicans, keeping this seat open, it's going to be discussion about immigration, which is funny because Republicans, thanks to Trump, actually turned down an incredibly draconian immigration bill that they would have gotten a lot of what they wanted from it. They're never going to have another chance at that, just so that Republicans, specifically Donald Trump, can go out and say, oh, look how bad the Democrats are on immigration. No, you turned down your own bill. So, look, it's going to be a circus, and we're all going to be essentially front row